Here we go now. A case of beer, some barbecue. There's no doubt that I'm better than you. With these looks and these moves, you can't blame me for being so rude.
Check, testing, 1, 2.
The red, white, and blue will be my home till the day I die. I'm every lady's fantasy. I'm the American guy. The trailer park is where I'm from. You better believe I have about 27 guns. Baseball games, pickup trucks. I'm leagues above you other dumb schmucks. I'm from where the women are hot and the Twinkies are deep fried. And every day I pledge allegiance to God and country. I'm the American guy.
Well, happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. This is Grant Bachoco, and welcome to the Filsinger Games Fan Podcast. It is great to have you all here. Welcome. This is episode number 160 for September 10th, 2021. The Filsinger Games Fan Podcast, your favorite Filsinger Games Fan Podcast. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's great to have you all here. Now, this podcast I record live on usually Friday nights, and then it goes out onto the podcast feed, the audio version, on Saturday mornings. Tomorrow is September 11th. So before we get going, I do just want to send a special thought out, because it's been 20 years since that unbelievable, unfathomable day. So I just want to send a brief moment to think about all the people, who lost their lives, and also all the people affected by that. I think we all were. But just a brief moment of thought, because obviously it's something we are not going to forget. All right. So that said, thank you for that. We want to send a special shout out to all the Patreon patrons who make this video and the other videos from Saturday Morning Media possible. And a special shout out to our patron producers, Dorothy Bachoco, Eve Cunning, Kathy Crawford, Tony Urbano, David Akers, and Vicky Sebring. Shout out to all of them. Well, we've got a ton of news, ladies and gentlemen. We got a ton of news. It is pre-order time for the fall things from Filsinger Games. So let's get right into it. The first thing is the Filsinger Games Holiday Kickoff is happening October 17th. 2021. Now, this will be a virtual event, just like they have been in recent times. There will be no in-person element to this, so you can watch this from the comfort of your own home. Pants optional, I guess. Your ticket includes an entrance into the virtual game tournament. There's going to be 3 tournaments, a Centra Future Shock tournament, a deathmatch tournament, and then some sort of Legends tournament. There was some talk of it possibly being a tag team tournament, but since those go on long, that is still up in the air. That will be from 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday, October 17th. Then from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time will be a Filsinger Games staff Q&A and a special Legends of Wrestling guest that has something to do with the set that's coming out in December, which is the Memphis or, Southern related set. So interesting there. Each ticket gets you an exclusive Legends card and a sticker, Filsinger Games sticker. So and apparently these stickers are going to become some sort of thing that's going to happen with some regularity. So get your hydro flasks ready so you can adorn them with Filsinger Games stickers. So anyway, get your tickets for that. The tickets are on sale right now for the 2021 holiday kickoff happening being October 17th, 2021, from 1 p.m. Eastern Time to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. I will see you there. Moving on to Champions of the Galaxy news, of course, for Future Shock 2117, Calamity is coming to the CWF, but why? He's one cool customer who calculates every single move. He is clearly an experienced fighter, but whose side is he on? Could he be working with General Aegis, Starslayer, Revolver, Oracle, Murdoch? Maybe Magnus Colby brought Calamity in as a hired gun. Who knows? The only way to find out for sure is to order Future Shock 2117 coming this fall. Now, moving on to where the big news is today anyway, Filsinger Games independent wrestling card and dice game. We've got two announcements to talk about. The first is Jeff Cannonball. Cannonball is coming to the Indies Deathmatch 2021 set, so you can get him. I don't know much about him. I am not a huge deathmatch watcher, but a very, very popular and guy, and many people excited that he is in the game. Now, the news that this podcast, broke on the Filsinger Games message boards earlier today, that Nick Gage is coming. The God of Ultraviolence is going to be a special edition card that will be available, is available now for pre-order as part of the Deathmatch set. It is a special edition card in addition to the deathmatch set, so you don't get this as part of the set. It is an SE card. The other announcement about that, and maybe kind of overshadowed, is that Gage's real life brother and deathmatch legend in his own right, Justice Payne, will be part of the Q3 release of Indies Promoter Prime. So you're getting Nick Gage and his brother. I don't really know much about either of these guys, but I do understand that they are big names, and people are very excited for him. Moving on to Legends of Wrestling, there was no teaser this week, but the Legends 4-pack pre-orders are now live. And then, of course, as I mentioned, there will be a Legends guest as part of the holiday kickoff event, who will have a card. So we don't know who that legend is yet, but stay tuned and we will bring you that information as soon as we have it. All of the fall releases and Q3 of Promoter Prime will begin mailing by September 30th. So that still could mean September 30th, but that means an early October receiving, but hopefully it'll be a little earlier. For all this information, head on over to filsingergames.com. That is the place to go for all the info. Well, it's time to move on to the match of the show. I asked you who should face our new champion, Seige, and we actually only had two people who sent in recommendations, and the recommendations were Disaster and Bruiser Brody. So I threw both of those names into a blender and a randomizer and randomized them all up. And ladies and gentlemen, facing Seige for the Podcast Grand Championship, this should be an interesting match, is none other than Disaster. Both men with spikes on their shoulders. They're going to go at it now. Of course, we have Dark Menace over here in the corner. And I think what Dark Menace's effect is going to be is he's going to enhance the Aetherin Crippler for Seige, making these both a +3 move. And then, of course, he will be lurking at ringside doing all his crazy Dark Menace stuff. Let's roll for initiative. Let's ring the bell, and it looks like Seige will start things off here, rolling on level 1, and he shoves Disaster across the ring. Disaster shakes it off, and he's going to roll on level 2 offense, hits an elbow hammer on Seige, dazing Seige. Disaster, perhaps quite fittingly, hits Aetherin Dominance, which is a power move, but unfortunately Seige has the power, so he will roll and throw Disaster into the ring, into the ropes. The opponent tries a big shoulder tackle, but depends on which wrestler is more powerful. As we have seen, Seige is more powerful, so he will roll on level 2 offense, and he is going to throw Disaster into the ropes again, uses one of his specialty moves, and then goes in for the kill on on level 3 defense, and he hits it. The 8th ring crippler. This is going to be +3, so the target will be 5 here, and the roll is an 8, so Disaster will get 1 fatigue token, but he is in trouble as Seige looks to end this early. Hits a Gladiator pile driver. Disaster is down 3. He is going to roll out of the ring, and the opponent comes out to continue the fight, but Disaster grabs him, smashes him into the announcer's table, and Disaster may be disqualified here. He is not disqualified. Throws Seige back into the ring, will roll on level 3 offense, hits a Gladiator pile driver of his own, and we are rolling a pin here for Seige. The target is 1, the roll is a 6. Easy kick out for Seige, but Disaster now in control. Out of the ring, he throws Seige out of the ring, and Seige grabs Disaster, drags him out of the ring, smashes him into the turnbuckle post, throws him back in, and he will roll on level 3 offense, and he hits the 8th ring crippler again. A +3 move, so the target here is going to be 6, and the roll is a 10, so Disaster gets another fatigue token, and Seige is in control, tries a deadlift suplex, which will be a choice D. He's not going to go for this Cobra Clutch, because he'd have to, this power move, he'd have to roll a 5. He is going to go for the agility move, which will work on an 8 or less. And he does not work. Disaster takes back over control, and he is going to roll on choice B. And he is... Ooh, his turnbuckle is an A. I think he's going to go for this agility move to avoid any sort of reversal that is going to work on an 8 or less. And, Champions of the Galaxy Online is working rather slow tonight. Are those rolls going to come through? Hello? He needs an 8 or less. He gets a 5. It does work. Seige rolls on level 2. Hurt there on Seige. Stomps to the head. 2. Seige is going to shake that off. Reverse on level 1. What a match between these two powerhouses. A big leg lariat, but Disaster has the agility. He is going to hit a big atomic spike for 3. Down 3 is Seige. Can Disaster capitalize here? He rolls choice H. He is going to try a oh, no, wait. Ooh, this is tricky. His death jump is a B, but his agility would work on a roll of 8. He's going to go for it. He's going to hope he hits... Disaster's going to hope he hits an 8 or less. Gets a 6. Gets it. Seige rolls on level 3 defense. Down 3. That was a smart move there. Gladiator pile driver 3 on Seige. Down 3. Disaster hits another pile driver on Seige, and I clicked it. Boy, oh boy. COTG Online today is... slow. And that's a hurt 2. Disaster rolls on level 2. An elbow hammer 2. Hurt 2. Disaster trying to finish it here. Throws Seige into the ropes. Seige comes off with a powerful flying shoulder tackle and will roll on level 2 offense and hit a claw hold on Disaster. Disaster's going to get right out of that and reverse it on level 2 into the ropes. Goes Seige. The opponent uses one of his specialty moves on you and goes in for the kill. Disaster rolling on level 3 again with the choice H. He is going to try this again where he needs an 8 or less in order to make this work. Gets a 3. Makes it happen. Seige is down 3. Disaster again, choice H. I think he's going to go for the death jump this time. Seige has a B death jump rating. Blast Seige with the flying clothesline and will roll on level 3 offense. Out of the ring. Ooh. He is going to roll up. He is not going to throw him out of the ring. Elbow hammer 2. Seige is going to reverse it on level 2. Seige stunner 3, add 1. Disaster now at 3 fatigue. Rolling on level 3 defense for Disaster. Oh, come on. I clicked it. Yes, Disaster. Sorry, folks. COTG Online is running super slow right now. There you go. A hurt 2. Seige rolling on level 2 with a back body drop 2 on Disaster. Hurt 2. Seige really just looking for his finisher here. Into the ropes, throws Disaster into the ropes, and Disaster comes off with a flying shoulder tackle and rolls level 2 offense and hits a big atomic spike on Seige. Down 3, leave the ring. Seige is leaving the ring. He crawls helplessly back in as Disaster hits Rampage, a big +4 finisher. You better believe Dark Menace is going to interfere here. We're going to roll on the manager interference chart. Your manager tries to interfere, but the opponent clotheslines the manager and delivers one of his specialty moves. Then he covers you. Roll your pin. So it's not going to be the Rampage finisher, but we are going to roll the pin here. And the roll is a 6. The target is 2. So another fatigue there for Seige. And Disaster rolls on level 3, and he hits the Rampage again! Dark Menace is going to try his Distractor rating, which is a 7. Hoping he gets it. He does get it. Another fatigue token for Seige. Disaster rolling on level 3. Disaster Demolition. 3 hurt 2. Oh, man, this is a match. Into the ropes goes Seige. And Seige comes off with a powerful flying shoulder tackle, rolls on level 2 offense, and throws Disaster into the ropes. Disaster puts down the opponent. The opponent puts him down hard and with a running back elbow. Seige rolls on level 2 offense. Into the turnbuckle goes Disaster. The opponent tries a running clothesline, but you move. He crashes into the turnbuckle. You cover him for the pin. Opponent rolls pin. Dark Menace cannot interfere anymore. The target is 4. The roll is a 9. Seige able to kick out, but he is now at 4 fatigue. Oh no, Disaster throws Seige out of the ring. The opponent comes out of the ring, smashes Seige with a steel chair. Oh no, is this going to end in a disqualification? No, Disaster not disqualified. The ref being lenient. Throws him back in, rolls on level 3 offense, hits the Gladiator pile driver, hurts 2 on Seige, hits the big atomic spike 3. Seige is down. Disaster rolls. He is not going to roll out of the ring. He is going to roll up, hits the atomic spike again, only hurting Seige. Into the ropes again goes Seige. What a match this is. The opponent gets you into a position for a back body drop. Seige hits a pile driver on Disaster, and Seige will now roll on level 3 offense, and he is going to throw Disaster out of the ring. Disaster grabs Seige by the leg, throws him into the turnbuckle post, throws him back in, and now Disaster hits a choice H. He is going to go for the death jump on Seige. The opponent climbs to the top. A big struggle. Whoever has the better agility rating, that's Disaster. Disaster throws Seige off the top. He's going to roll on level 3 offense and then throw Seige right out of the ring. I would have thought he'd go for the pin. Seige crawls helplessly back in as Disaster rolls on level 3 offense, and again he throws him out of the ring. The opponent comes out of the ring. A wild brawler ups the wrestler with the better ring rating. They are both equal. So Disaster again is going to roll on level 3 offense, and he hits this choice H again. He is going to try this agility move that'll work on an 8 or less. Oh, 11. Seige is able to reverse it and hits a running choke slam on Disaster, and Disaster rolls his pin. The target here is 5. The roll is 11. Disaster now up to 4 fatigue. Holy cow, ladies and gentlemen. Seige rolls the Aethrin Crippler, which will be an enhanced +3. So the target is 9. The roll is a 6. The winner and still podcast grand champion in a hell of a match is Seige. Holy moly, ladies and gentlemen. What a match that was. Well, moving on to the question of the show. We kind of got punked out with this question. I kind of blame Todd for not letting us know last week. But the question was last week: who do you think will be the Legends name announced when pre-orders start? Well, it turns out that there was no Legends name announced when pre-orders start. But a few of you answered anyway. Mark Ferguson says that Dutch Savage will probably be next week. Michael Brada said the Grappler will be the next name released in the 4-pack, and Jared B says, going with my early prediction from episodes ago, Matt Bourne. I remember today with the talk of the Grappler that I think I signed the Grappler. The Grappler came in. If I did not sign him, I did talk to him about it, and he's just a super nice guy. He came in and worked with Championship Wrestling from Hollywood while I was there, and just a fantastic guy, just great to sit and talk to. And I just sat and talked with him, and again, I don't know 100% if I signed him, but I think I did, because I remember talking to him about the game, and he's just a great guy. So thank you to Mark, Michael, and Jared for answering the question. We've got a new question this time, super simple. What are you pre-ordering today from all the fall releases? Answer in the comments below, and we will have the answers on the next show. I want to give a brief update about the future of the Filsinger Games Podcast. Next week on Tuesday, I am starting a new gig that is going to be taking me all the way through Halloween. So there's going to be no episode next week. And then after that, starting on September 20th, we're going to move to Mondays. So we will cover all the stuff, all the announcements on Mondays, and it'll continue that way through after Halloween. And then we will be back to Fridays on November 5th. So once again, no episode next week. We're going to be moving to Mondays, where we record the show live here on YouTube starting on September 20th, and then that will continue throughout October 31st, and then we will be back to Fridays on November 11th. And I wanted to ask you something. I wanted to ask you, the listeners, something. Do you like that I go over the news of the week on the episodes? And the reason I ask is because there's other Filsinger Games podcasts, and it seems that every single podcast goes over the news. So if you listen to all the Filsinger Games podcasts, and you should, you're hearing the same thing over and over and over again. And I just don't know if that makes the show exciting or if that makes the show boring. And I don't ever want to bore. I want to make this your show. So let me know in the comments, would you like me to continue going over the news, or do you think I should come up with something else in the show? I know for a couple episodes I did my personal Fed results, and I will get back to those. I just have to decide how I'm going to do it. But anyway, let me know, because I would love to know what you think. Elsewhere here on the YouTube channel, we just had a big video go out today where I unboxed Future Shock and a bunch of Promoter Prime stuff. So definitely go check that out. Looking at my YouTube stats, that's already one of the most popular videos in the past couple weeks. And we also had a great edition of Hollywood Elite Wrestling. And so go check that out as well. Hopefully every Tuesday going forward, Hollywood Elite Wrestling will be back. And I'm looking to have a lot of fun with it. Hey, there's speaking of other Filsinger Games podcasts, there's a lot of fun Filsinger Games related content out there. Of course, Uncharted Territory. You can go check that out. We've got After Further Review with Steve Tower. He's been killing it with his big tournament. Definitely check that out. Dave Little with Heartland Championship Wrestling. Roll Up, the official Filsinger Games podcast. The Dizzy Dice podcast with Lee Longpree. And adding now BROC's Twitch channel. I finally got the link added to the thing. If you want a link to these, they will be in the show notes for the video episode, the audio episode, or whatever. I can see people in the chat are already saying, yes, continue to do the news. So, thank you. I just want this to be your podcast. It's the fan podcast. I want to do what you want. So check out all these other Filsinger Games podcasts. And finally, I do have to give a little plug to the fundraising campaign that I have going on right now. Last week, we were only at 35 plushes sold. This week, I'm happy to say, at least last time I looked, we were at 100 sold. So we were halfway through our funding thing. This is a TikTok celebrity. He's got over 2.2 million followers on TikTok. So if you would like a plush puppet of my character, LOOFAH, please go to thetoilet.com/plush. Again, the link will be in the show notes. Hey, did you know that there is an audio version of this podcast? Yep, there sure is. Goes out every Saturday morning after we record. You can find it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Anywhere. In fact, it's even included now on Samsung phones. So just about anywhere you get your audio, you can search for the Filsinger Games Fan Podcast, and it'll pop right up. If you have a topic you'd like the show to cover, leave it in the comments. Make sure to subscribe or follow whether you're watching this live on YouTube or Twitch, and follow GWF Promoter on social media at GWF Promoter. You can check out my personal feds at GWFpromoter.com and LOWpromoter.com. The theme song is American Guy by Throwing Toasters, used by permission and available on Apple Music, Spotify, and anywhere you get your music. This podcast is not affiliated in any way with Filsinger Games or its subsidiaries. It's purely for entertainment purposes. This episode is copyright 2021 Saturday Morning Media. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to see you on the 20th. That will be the next episode. Huge shout out to James Lawrence, Derek Bauman, Michael Bratta, Mark Ferguson, Gordon Smack, and Christopher Merriman, and Carl Zilla, and anybody else who was watching live as we filmed. Really appreciate it. Have a great weekend. Have a great week, and I will see you on Monday the 20th. Goodbye, everybody.